Hello, Shalon Winter here. Thanks for tuning in to my YouTube channel. This is the day trading playlist section of my channel, and this is where I talk about futures trading. I've been futures day trading for 2 years now, and I've learned quite a bit. And so the point of this section of the channel is to go into different live trading sessions. I'm making videos on different tips and things, what to do for your futures trading, discipline, psychology, things like that. So definitely tune in. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And this particular video, we're going to be going into trader funding. What is trader funding? Why use it? Why I use it? And how to really leverage and spread out your risk doing so. So tune in and let's dive right in. All right, so let's jump right into it. What is trader funding and why use trader funding? Or as some may call prop firm trading or using a prop firm. So first of all, let me backtrack into saying, my background is real estate and finance. I've been doing that since 2008. And in the world of finance, I believe, this is my opinion, that, if you're young, or if you don't have a nest egg of funds, maybe you're 60 years old, 50 years old, you didn't put away, into a 401k or have a pension or anything like that. And so you don't have a large sum of money. Or like I said, if you're younger, basically you need a way to accumulate funds, right? So what got me really involved into futures trading and more so using trader funding is because when there's a difference, in my opinion, between doing that and investing into, say, the stock market, trading stocks, trading options, things like that without trader funding. Because at this point in time, you're in the accumulation phase of your life. Or like I said, if you are older in your later years, 50s, maybe even 40s, you haven't gotten started, 60 years old, you need to find a way to really collapse timeframes at this point. And that's why I loved real estate. If you look at real estate, there's ways to collapse timeframes and accumulate cash, where you can have forced equity, where you appreciate properties, pull cash out, and now you have lump sums of cash. But if you're investing into the stock market, you put 10 grand in there, 5 grand, 10 grand, 15 grand, whatever you have, and you say, well, I'm going to trade stocks or options with this cash that I have. My opinion is, what good is putting that type of money in there and making even 10% a month, 20% a month if you're really good at trading? I mean, how much is that really life-changing money? That to me is something where if you already have a large sum of money, $1 million, hundreds of thousands of dollars that you can put into a market and get a return on your funds like that, a good rate of return, that's great, because now you're preserving that money, you're preserving your funds and getting a rate of return on it. But if you don't have a large sum, your goal, in my opinion, should be to accumulate. You're in the accumulation phase still. And that doesn't matter if you're 20 or 60. If you don't have that money now, you have to accumulate it, be in the accumulation phase. And if you are older, you have to figure out a way to collapse the time frames. So that's what I loved about real estate. But then whenever I found out a couple years ago, about futures trading, and that there is trader funding available, that you can essentially do the same thing with this, but you don't have to have $10,000, $20,000, because if I had that kind of money that I was going to put into something to make money, I could put 20 grand into a real estate deal and you could double your money or more. But if you put $20,000 into stock market and you're just getting 10% return, that's a big difference. Yes, you can double your money and you can do all kinds of other things in the market too. But for me, with my real estate background, I have more confidence putting it into a property and making that type of forced equity, basically. So with the futures trader funding, you can do the same thing. And I mean, you're collapsing time frames. So what it is I've tried a bunch of different companies, different programs, prop firms, trader funding, things like that. And the best one that there's out there when it comes to how it works, rules, all that is Apex Trader Funding. 100% recommend them. I use them myself. So like I said, the great thing about this is that you can leverage multiple accounts, and I'll go into showing you how this works, but that's the main reason why I want to do it with trader funding. So with that being said, my strategy here with futures and futures trader funding is more of a income strategy versus investing. Because let's just take, for example, let me pull this over that I can kind of write on. If you are investing into the stock market for a rate of return, right? Let's just say you average 10 to 20% on your money. Let's say you put 10 grand in there. Yeah, we know there's different strategies. Maybe you're trading options where you can leverage, and you put 10 grand in there. Yeah, you can have a 50% day where you make 50% on your money. You can have, but we know, what do we know with trading? Most of the time, most traders, even if you're great, you're going to have, ups and downs, right? You're going to have good days. You're going to have some down days. Hopefully you're not the type of trader that blows out your accounts, but you're going to have good days and bad days. Most traders are not averaging 50% per month, plain and simple. So let's just call it an average 10. If you're really good, 20%. So if you put 10 grand into account, you're making $1,000 to $2,000 on your money per month. Okay. So, and in real estate, this is why, I never really wanted to just get into the market at first. Because with real estate, let's say you put 10, 20 grand into a property, right? We know, what do we know about that? I mean, if you're watching this, I don't know if you know about real estate, but let's just say you put 10 grand into a property, right? And there's many ways that you can purchase undervalued, under market real estate for very little out of pocket. And that's by using other people's money, right? We call it OPM, other people's money. And then you could go improve the property, put a little bit of repairs, which you can borrow that as well, put some repairs into it, refinance it out. And let's say now you pull out, 20 grand or something. Basically, you can not 10x, I'm sorry. You can double your money pretty easily. Yes, it's not liquid right at that moment, but when you refinance it in a few months or sell it, many different strategies, you can essentially double your money fairly quickly and have the safety of the property. The chances of it you losing 50% is very, very slim. So that's what I was looking at, but you can actually do the same thing with trader funding. So you can go and you can qualify for an account, right? So, and I'll go over all the rules and how that works too, but you can qualify for a $50,000 account, for example, and they'll go, once you pass the qualifications, and fund your account with $50,000 that you can trade with. And this is not your own money. This is their money. Apex Trader Funding's money, right? So this allows you to, one, not use your own money. Two, you can trade bigger now, larger contracts. So if you could very well easily on one contract on the futures market make $1,000 a week on a $50 $1,000 account like this, make $1,000 a week, and that's, $4,000 a month right there, just by using other people's money. So that's what I mean by more of an income strategy. I'm not needing to invest. I don't need to invest my own 50,000 to make 1,000 a week. I don't need to do that. So I don't need to put 10 grand in to try to make 10% a month or 20% or 30% or whatever. I don't need to put my own money to make a certain rate of return. I believe if you have a large lump sum amount of money, like I said earlier, 500 grand, a few $100,000, $1 million, and you're trying to preserve that money and make 10%, that's a whole different ballgame. Most people don't just have $1 million laying around. And if they did, they probably know what to do with it, unless they hit the lottery or something, but that's very rare. So for everybody else, we have to accumulate. And this is an income strategy here. So let's go right into it. And I'll show you how we leverage. So another reason why, that's what really drew me into using trader funding, because it's an income strategy, it's leverage, and also to trade futures, you do require a certain amount of margin. So let's say, for example, all I have is $5,000 to trade with. I throw $5,000 into a brokerage account and I want to trade futures. Well, there are certain margin requirements. So some days the margin might be small. They might say, yeah, your 5,000 is enough to trade one mini contract. You can do that. But let's say some news happens, something crazy starts happening in the world, and they're expecting extreme volatility in the market. What they're gonna say is, whoa, there's a lot of volatility happening. There's a lot of craziness. We require you to have a larger margin. And they can do this at any time. If you're in the middle of a trade, you can get liquidated if you trade too big and you don't have enough margin requirement. So if you get trader funding or prop firm, whatever you want to call it, and they fund your account with $50,000, you're not going to have an issue of having a margin requirement. You're just not going to have that issue. And like I said, they can change that at any time. So you really don't want to be stuck in a trade or in the market and either get liquidated or just have to say, well, I can't trade today because, the margin requirement's too high, or I have to trade one micro, which is only 50 cents per tick. Most people don't want to take a trade and only make a couple dollars, especially if you have five grand in your account or 10 grand. So that's really the main issue. The main reasons, aside from the whole income strategy and accumulating, basically trying to accumulate cash, is margin requirements. You definitely don't have to worry about that with trader funding, and you get to very much leverage yourself. So I'll get to that in just a second. So let's jump on. And by the way, I do have a Facebook group too. That link is going to be in the description. Join my Facebook group. We have a lot of activity in there. We put in discounts, different things. So again, I recommend Apex Trader Funding. I've used almost all your companies that's out there, prop firms, for futures trading. And Apex is number one. Number one, least amount of rules, great community. So this is the website here. So let's take a look. Here's their website. Okay, so why choose our funding program? Here's a bunch of reasons. You can have multiple accounts, and you can read through this. The website is apextraderfunding.com. I will give you a coupon code too, special coupon code. You can get 50% off of your valuations. I'll go into that in a minute too. Okay, here's some reasons that I said, but also with Apex, they have very few rules. So no scaling or failing to go over the contract size. What that means is there's some um, programs where they say you can only trade 2 contracts to start. And if you accidentally hit 3 contracts and take a trade, you fail your evaluation. So basically this trader funding, I'm actually going to skip this for a second because we're going to go down here right quick. We're going to go right here. And the way this works, I just want to tell you right quick how it works, and then I'll go into more of the rules. So basically what happens is you pick an account size, right? So as you can see here, you got $25,000 account, the starting capital, 25,000, 50,000, and so on. Okay. And then you have a few rules. And basically what you do is once you pass an evaluation, this is called an evaluation. You pick a plan and you have these rules. It's basically them saying, hey, let's give you a test, see if you know what you're doing. If you can pass this evaluation, then we're going to put have a real account for you with 50,000 or whatever amount is that you're starting with, ready for you to trade. Okay. And then you trade it like if it's your own. You sign agreements with them. You have a whole packet that you sign, you fill out, you get started with them, and that's what it is. That's really all it is. You have these rules. You show them that you could trade. You're a consistent trader. You know what you're doing. Pass the evaluation. They fund you with whatever size you started with, and then you go from there. You're trading their money. Like I said, with real estate, we like to use other people's money. Same thing with trading. Now, I will say this is the only company. You're probably wondering now, well, what's in it for them? So they make, basically the profit split is me as a trader. I make 90%. When I go to hit the withdraw button to cash out, whatever I want to withdraw, 90% of it is mine. Apex Trader Funding keeps 10%. That is unheard of. Everybody else, I've seen 50% splits, 60%. I've seen 80. One company I've seen in the second year will go to 90%. Apex Trader Funding gives you 90% of your own profits from day one. That's awesome. So basically, I'm giving up 10% of my profits to use none of my own money. It's like an insurance policy. That's nothing. Gladly do that. Not only for that reason of not using my own money, I can get as many of these accounts. Well, I say as many. There's not a limit to how many accounts you can sign up for and get, but you want to make sure that you don't go out of control and you can actually handle the amount that you're trying to get. There's no good getting 20 accounts, 30 accounts, and you can't handle that amount and you blow them all out, or you just waste your own money for no reason. So let's dive into a little bit here. So let's say you go with a 50,000 account. You could trade up to 10 contracts. Your profit goal, basically you have to make $3,000 of profit, okay? Without losing $2,500. This is called a trailing threshold, okay? And I'll explain that in a second too, how that works. But basically that's what it is. You got to make $3,000 without losing $2,500. And that's it. That's really the only rules. And you have to trade at least 10 trading days. You can take as long as you want, but let's say you hit $3,000 in 5 trading days. Well, you got to trade 5 more days. But if it takes you 30 days, no problem. If it takes you 60 days, no problem. Doesn't matter. As long as you hit this amount and trade it at least 10 days. Okay? So that's really how this works here. You pick an account, $167 a month while you're in the evaluation. Once you pass the evaluation, they give you a funded account. You don't pay this anymore. And like I said, I'm going to give you a coupon code. It's going to be in the description to sign up for 50% off. Okay, so don't sign up yet. 50% off of this until March 31st. The code is WIN50. WIN 50. WIN50. Use that code, get 50% off. every month, and up until, and that coupon code is good for up to 20 accounts through March 31st. Okay, so let's go back up here. There's no daily drawdowns. I'll go into drawdowns here in a minute. You can trade on the holidays. You can trade during news. There's no cap on your maximum payouts. They don't cap you. Just that one-step evaluation process. You can qualify in as little as 10 days. Like I mentioned, you have to trade at least 10 days. You get real-time data. You could trade with multiple accounts. And so I mentioned you keep 90% of your money, right? Of the funds that you withdraw. Apex Trader Funding keeps 10%. Here's another awesome thing. The first 10 grand that you withdraw is 100% yours. So the first 10 grand, Apex Trader Funding is not receiving anything from it. 100% yours, okay? After 10 grand, that's when the 90% kicks in. That's just, I mean, nobody does that. No other prop firm trader funding does this. Okay, so this is just beautiful. And yes, I am biased because I use this personally, and it's just amazing. And full disclosure, I am an affiliate with Apex Trader Funding. I'm not an employee. I don't work for them. I'm just an affiliate, and I use them for my own trading, and I'm just explaining why I use it. Okay, so here's the evaluations. So let's go into right quick the power of multiple accounts and leveraging. Okay, so let's bring out this calculator here, and let's see. All right, so you get a $50,000 account, and let's say you made $100 that day, or I don't know, let's say $200. You had a profit goal, you hit $200 that day, right? Great. $200 times 5 trading days, right? That's $1,000 that week. This is very easy to do when you first start, by the way. And I'll go into, if you subscribe to my channel, follow me, videos will be coming out also with, money management strategies, discipline, trader psychology, stuff like that. So definitely stay tuned in. But back to this, let's see. So let's say you make $1,000, right? That's great. But this is the power of multiple accounts, okay? If I had two accounts, two $50,000 accounts, and I made $200 in one account, Apex actually has a tool called the Apex Trade Copier. What you do, and actually, let's see, I think I might even have it up right now. I do. So let me open this trade copier. All right, so okay, I'm not gonna show it because, well, yeah, okay, I can, yeah, I'll show it. Okay, so here is this Apex Trade Copier. Okay, the beautiful thing about this is it'll list all your accounts right here, right? What you can do is you can pick one of your accounts, a leader account, okay? And then you can connect all of your other accounts together with it. So you can have one, two, you can have a bunch, but you can connect all these. So let's see, I selected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 accounts here listed. One is a leader, 5 more following. Okay? So this is 6 total accounts. What this means is when I take a trade, it's going to copy that trade that I took in this account to all these instantly in real time. So this is the power of leverage. Okay, if I made $200 on that one account and it copied it to all those other accounts, okay, so that's going to be multiplied by 6. I really just made $1,200 that day. Okay, So I'm spreading out my risk because, yes, you could get just one big account and trade that many contracts, right? But it's in one account. So instead, I'm able to trade smaller but still make a large amount of money because it's spread across multiple accounts. So in this scenario now, I just made $6,000 in 1 week. Same trade, same time, everything the same, except it's more leverage, right? Same amount of contracts per account, everything the same. It's just more leverage. That's $6,000 in 1 week times 4 weeks. That's $24,000 in a month. Of course, this is assuming you don't lose, which we know everybody loses. Even if you did half as good, would you enjoy making $12,000 a month? Okay, so how hard would it be to take $10,000 or $20,000 even of your own cash, stick it into a, I don't know, E-Trade, Thinkers, TD Ameritrade, any of these places. Try to trade stocks, even Robinhood, Webull, whatever. Try to trade stocks or options. You're $10,000, right? $10,000 or whatever amount of money you have. How long would it take you to make $12,000, $20,000 a month off of it? It would take a long time to build that up, right? So I'm not saying it's impossible, but what did I say at the beginning of this video? My opinion is we have to find a way to collapse time frames because we want to build up, we want to accumulate. We're in the accumulation phase, right? This video is not for somebody that has $1 million laying around. If you got $1 million laying around, we can figure something else out to do with that to protect that. But that's not the case right here. If you got $1 million, you could go stick that somewhere and make 10% a year. That's preserving it. You don't need this. Okay, so back to this. Let's see. So that's just the beginning. Trading, making $200 a day is actually small trading in the futures market. But put that together with leverage, and that just makes, you just saw. That makes for a great week. You can make that in 1 or 2 hours every morning. That's what I do every single morning. And that's really all it takes. So if you have, just look at the easy math here. This is the power of this, okay? So if you, this is my trading strategy. I aim for 40 ticks. And if you don't know what this is, don't worry about it. I'll have another video you can watch on, how futures works and all that. 40 ticks, right? Times $5 a contract. So 40 ticks is my goal. If I trade 5 contracts and I trade the NASDAQ, 5 contracts worth $5 each is $25 per tick. Okay, times 40 ticks is my daily goal. That's $1,000. Okay, and if you have 5 accounts, you're just multiplying. $5,000 a day times 5 days a week. That is the power. $25,000 a week. I'm not telling you. I'm showing you the power, the potential of leverage and using trader funding. Am I telling you that you're going to go and get started and make $25,000 a week? Most likely, no. Will you lose your account and blow it out? You could. That's a whole nother a whole nother thing. You got to have great money management and a great trading strategy. Okay. I'm just telling you the power and potential of trader funding and using a trade copier like I just showed you to leverage multiple accounts. Let's look even on the small scale. 40 ticks times 5 if you're just trading 1 contract a day, okay? So it's 40 ticks times $5, $200. You just made $200. And if you have 5 accounts, that's still $1,000 a day. I mean, people make good money out there, but not everybody has an easy way of making $1,000 in a day in a couple hours in the morning or whenever you want to trade, right? Times 5 days a week, you could potentially be making $5,000 a week just getting started. And let's say it's half as good as what I'm saying, $2,500 a week, because maybe you had some losses. Times 4 weeks. You do that consistently, build up accounts, start adding contracts. I mean, I don't know about you, but that's some pretty good money there. Okay? So that's the power of this. I just really wanted to explain the power of this and why I love trader funding and futures trading to accumulate cash, for cash accumulation, basically. Not investing. I'm not investing. I'm not investing in the futures. I'm not investing in the stocks. I'm not. This is cash accumulation. Okay? So now that you understand why I love it and why I do it, let's go into how it works. Okay? Because you have to understand how it works. As far as the rules, I went over the rules, but as far as the trailing drawdown, that's really the main thing, because trading is there's so many styles of trading, how you trade, right? That's completely different. Money management, you have to have some money management. You should have a money management plan anyways in your strategy, but depending on your strategy, you might have to alter it a little bit because of how the funding works. So let me show you that real quick. All right, so how did it work? Let's say you just got signed up, right? You clicked here. You said, I'm going to do the 50K account. You get signed up. Here, by the way, you got to create a user password. Okay, put in all your info. Right here, coupon code. That is where you're going to write in WIN, WIN 50. You'll get a little green check over here. Okay. Saying right there that is a valid coupon code. You will receive 50% off of your evaluation account. So a 50K account, 50% off right there. Okay. Any size evaluation, you will receive 50% off. So use that. If you start there, you can go all the way up to 300 grand right out of the gate if you want to. Of course, you're going to pay more. But you get 50% off right now. For me, when you're starting out, my recommendation is either the 25K or 50K. But I would recommend, number one, the 50K. I only recommend the 25K if you already are a very, very consistent trader, well-disciplined, because the reason why I like these two is they are basically a 1-to-1 ratio. Profit goal is 1,500 on this one, and you can lose 1,500 or without losing 1,500. So 1-to-1. 50K is almost 1-to-1. 3 grand, 2,500. Then when you start going up from there, look, you got to make an extra 1,250 over the 50K account, but you can only lose $250 more. So more risk. All these accounts are fine, but in my opinion, starting off 50K account's great. You get some accounts under your belt, you know what you're doing. Then start, maybe graduating to a 250K, 300K account. And the reason why is because now you're allowed to trade more contracts. 27 contracts there, 35 contracts there. So the 50K account, you're capped out at 10 contracts, which that's still, you can make a ton of money, especially when you add other accounts with that. Because I trade the NASDAQ, which is worth $5 per contract. So 10 contracts at $5. Now I'm trading $50 per tick. So I have a daily goal of 40 ticks. So $50 per tick times 40, right? That's $2,000 a day times 5 accounts. You see what kind of money is possible, okay? If I'm capped out at that, I'm okay. To start off, that's just starting off. And then you can graduate to larger accounts. All right, so, and let me say this too, because you might go here and see this. Valuation resets. Oh, by the way, I don't recommend a 100K static account. I just don't recommend that because you start off with a very small trailing threshold. I don't recommend it. Evaluation resets is basically what that means is if I start with a 50K account, whatever size account, and I lose that amount that they say, you can't lose more than that amount, and I hit that amount and I blew out my account. Well, then I can pay $80 and it'll reset and start over this evaluation again. It doesn't reset your monthly billing. It doesn't reset anything. It just literally resets your account back to fresh. $50,000, $2,500 drawdown, resets your 10 days, a complete reset. All right, so that's what that is, just so you know. All right, so here's how this drawdown works, this trailing threshold. Here's the key. This is why you have to be consistent. And this is why they have this in place, because they want consistent, disciplined traders. Because think about it, if you were funding a trader, right, to do this, and you had the money that you're going to give somebody, do you want to give somebody 50 grand if they're just going to take crazy trades and make 10 grand one day, lose 10 grand the next, and just all over the place? No, you want a consistent trader, somebody that can show you they can make a profit day in, day out. And when they lose, because we all know in trading, you do lose. But when they lose, that they don't go crazy revenge trade, blow out their account. You want a disciplined, consistent trader if you were giving somebody 100 grand of your own money, right? I would. So that's what they're doing here. Okay, so let's look. $50,000 account, you have to make $3,000 without losing $2,500. Okay. What that means is, let's say I start off my trading day, very simple numbers here. Okay. I'm going to go with easy math. That's what I like. So we start off with 50,000. That 2,500 drawdown trailing threshold means my account can't go below 47,500 or I fail the evaluation. Okay. Does that make sense? Let's say I made $500 that day. Woo, I'm happy. Made $500. Now my account balance is at 50,500, right? So what happens over here on this trailing threshold, that goes up as well. So you see there's still a $2,500 difference. That's at 48,000 now, right? Makes sense? Let's say the next day I have a bad day and I lose 500. Okay, I'm back at 50,000. Your trailing threshold, guess what happens here? It does not go back down to 47,500. It stays in place at 48,000. So now you have a trailing threshold of $2,000. Okay? So let's say you lost another 500 the next day. Now you're down to 49,500. You're still at 48,000 on your trailing threshold. So what does that mean? You have a $1,500 left, and you're going to fail the evaluation. So this is why you don't start off trading too big in the beginning on these, because you can very easily, this trailing threshold can catch up. And this is how they can kind of keep traders in check with consistency. Okay. So, but then again, let's say I'm just using these numbers for easy math. The next day you made $1,000. Ooh, I'm back to 50,500. Well, great. Look, now your drawdown, your trailing threshold is back to $2,500 difference. You got a cushion again. And let's say you had another good day, made 500. Now you got 51. But because this now went over that 2,500, that 500 is going to get applied here too. Because during the evaluation, you're never going to get a bigger delta or difference over 2,500, because that's how much the trailing threshold is. Okay, so you're at 5,100. This goes to 48.5. Same thing. If you have a bad day, you're back to 5,500. This stays there. Does that make sense? Pretty simple. This is during the evaluation. Now, when you get to the 53,000, because you got to make 3,000 profit, right? When you get to the 53,000, great. If you go to the FAQ up here, they tell you exactly what happens, what to do when you pass your evaluation. But I'll save you the trouble. You do nothing. As long as you completed your 10 days of trading, you hit your profit goal without ever hitting this trailing threshold, then you'll get an email from Apex within 24 to 48 hours, Apex Trader Funding, saying congratulations, we verified you successfully passed your evaluation. Then they'll prepare some legal documentation to send to you that you sign for your agreement for basically partnering with them. And then within 24 to 48 hours or so, you'll receive your funded live performance account. That's what it's called, a PA, that you start making money on. That simple. And really, they get those done pretty fast. Really fast. Great service. Okay, so that's how the trailing drawdown works. And that is it. That is the only thing you need to know on how that works as far as the trailing threshold. Now, it's important to know when you have a live account, let's go, and it's funded. Oops. The same numbers, you'll have the same numbers here to begin with, okay? If you pick the $50,000 account. Now, let's fast forward. Okay? Let's just say you made $3,000 over however many days. Okay? So your account's looking like this. You have 53,000, and, well, let me backtrack. 2,500 is the trailing threshold. So once you've made 2,500 in your account, you're at 52,500. That means your trailing threshold is at 50,000. In a live PA funded account, once you reach here, and then let's say you make the next day $500, right? So you're at 53. Your trailing threshold stops trailing you at 50,100 whenever you're live. Okay, so that's great. Now let's say you've traded a couple more weeks and you've made an extra $5,000. This number stays here. Okay, so now you've got an $8,000, almost $8,000 cushion. Okay, you make another $2,000. You're at 60,000. Your trailing threshold is still there. So if you have a bad couple weeks, you end up going back down to 55. Well, you still have some nice cushion. Okay. So that's how it works in the live account. You don't have the trailing drawdown basically stops, after you've met whatever the amount is. In this case, the 50K account, your trailing threshold is 2,500. Once you've crossed that on the live account, it stops. Same thing with every other account. It stops after that. After you've made that much profit, the trailing drawdown stops. Okay, so that's a great thing because you don't want that forever. Okay, so that's how that works with the trailing drawdown. Very, very simple. Like I said, now that you know some of these rules here, there's other companies that they not only give you less profit, they have rules where you can't trade more than 2 contracts to begin with. If you do, even on accident, it fails you. They have other rules on you can't trade during news. certain times. There's other ones where they have a daily limit, loss limit. So basically, here we have $2,500 threshold, right, on this account. If you just were a crazy trader, didn't know what you're doing, had a technical error, something, and you lost $2,000 your first day, you're still in the game, because that means you still have $500 you're able to lose. There's other companies that have a daily loss limit of, let's say, $500. So even if you're in a trade and that particular trade goes backwards on you, it hits that loss limit, they will liquidate you. They'll fail you during the evaluation. And many of them even have that same rule during live funded trading with your funded accounts. Imagine being funded, you did all that work, you're funded, and your trade accidentally touches this daily loss limit just by a little bit and they liquidate you. I'd be upset. Okay. So in the end, 100% recommend Apex Trader Funding. And again, the coupon code is WIN50, will be in the description. Okay. You can trade all these futures markets here. I mean, so many different markets you can trade with the Trader Funding. Let's just look at all these markets. They use Rhythmic. Okay. Recommended platform is Ninja Trader. You can use other platforms as well. Many other platforms you can look around, find that there's different trading tools. You can actually, here's the trade copier that I mentioned. You can purchase it there. It's a one-time cost, and you'll probably for me, it paid for itself in the first day. A bunch of different resources here. Let's see here. Yeah, you can skim around and look on the website, but yeah, I mean, that's really why Trader Funding changed the game for me, why I trade futures. And in my opinion, especially coming from a finance background, the best way that I know for me was to collapse these time frames. Of course, like I said, you have to have your own trading strategy, your own money management. That's all, other areas you can learn from. So definitely subscribe to my channel. Follow me, Instagram, Facebook. Everything is at Shalon Winter. Join the Facebook group. We got a bunch of good things in there. Discounts, testimonials, lots of activity, trading strategies, all sorts of info there. So everything's going to be in the description. Hope you enjoyed this video and look forward to other videos coming. Take care.